The 2015 Lincoln cent was struck during a period when the mint had perfected mass production. Over 9 billion coins rolled out between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, each carrying the modern Union Shield design on the reverse, a symbol of unity and strength introduced in 2010. The obverse still features Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait, just as it has since 1909. But while the design may feel ordinary, the real magic lies in the details, and a few of those details have made collectors' hearts race. First, the basics. The 2015 penny is 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, a modern composition that replaced the solid copper cents of the past. Because these newer coins are mostly zinc, they're prone to bubbling, peeling, or plating errors, flaws that turn into valuable finds when extreme. One dramatic example showed major copper peeling on the obverse, revealing the silvery zinc core underneath. That 1-cent coin sold for over $1,200, all because of a striking mint defect. But the true headliners among 2015 pennies are the rare double die errors. On certain 2015 Lincoln cents, collectors have discovered visible doubling in Liberty or In God We Trust, created when the die struck the design at a slightly shifted angle during production. These errors are incredibly scarce for modern issues, and the clearest examples have fetched $2,000 to $3,500 in top condition. A near-perfect 2015 doubled die obverse certified by PCGS drew intense bidding and sold for an astounding $4,600, simply because the doubling was crisp and bold under magnification. Then there's the 2015 D Lincoln cent from the Denver Mint, which produced over 4.6 billion coins that year. Among them are several incredible striking errors that took the hobby by storm. One of the most famous is the off-center strike, where part of Lincoln's face or the date is missing because the planchet wasn't correctly aligned. A 2015 penny with a dramatic 70% off-center strike and full visible date sold for $3,000 at auction. Another example, struck on a misaligned planchet with a doubled rim and distorted design, realized $2,400. But some of the wildest discoveries came from coins struck on the wrong planchet entirely, a kind of minting miracle. A few 2015 D pennies have been confirmed struck on dime planchets, which are smaller and silver in color. Because of this, parts of the design are cut off around the edge. One of these wrong planchet 2015 D pennies was authenticated and sold for an unbelievable $11,800. Another, struck on a foreign planchet used for coins made for another country, brought nearly $14,000, all from a coin worth 1 cent on paper. Even more shocking is the existence of double denomination strikes where a coin is accidentally struck on top of another coin type, like a dime or a nickel. One 2015 Lincoln cent struck over a Roosevelt dime planchet became one of the most talked about modern mint errors ever recorded, selling for an eye-popping $16,200. For modern coins, condition is king, and this rule has made some 2015 pennies truly golden for lucky collectors. While most circulate quickly and develop spots or dull surfaces, a few survive in pristine, mirror-like quality known as specimen or proof-like PL condition. These coins have deep reflectivity on both sides, like small mirrors. A 2015 Lincoln cent graded MS69RD, near perfect, sold for $3,060, and another with ultra-deep mirrors fetched $5,200. These sales prove that even a modern penny can command thousands when it's flawless. Collectors also pay close attention to color designation on grading labels: RD for red, RB for red-brown, and BN for brown. Full red examples, especially in mint state 68 or higher, are extremely rare because of how fast zinc pennies tone. A perfectly red, spot-free 2015 D penny in MS68 RD condition can sell for $1,000, $2,000, while the few that reached MS69 RD have topped $4,000 in private sales. And then there are the proof coins. The 2015 S-proof Lincoln cents, struck in San Francisco, were never released into circulation. They were made for collectors in special mint sets. These coins have a dazzling mirror finish and frosted details. A flawless deep cameo proof graded PR70 decam by PCGS brought 100, but special varieties, including errors, like double strikes or missing clad layers, can reach far higher. One proof coin with a double-struck obverse realized 2,650. Even beyond the numbers, the 2015 penny represents an important chapter in coin collecting. It's part of the Union Shield reverse era, designed to symbolize Lincoln's role in preserving the Union. The single shield replaces the older Lincoln Memorial reverse, reminding collectors of continuity and strength. For young numismatists, it's often the first coin they collect. But for professionals, it's also a modern playground where error coins, high grades, and rare varieties meet incredible profit potential. If you're searching your change today, pay attention to every 2015 penny you find. Check for doubling on the letters. Look for off-center strikes, and notice any odd color or plating separation. Even tiny differences can make the coin worth far more than face value. And remember, condition matters more than anything else. Bright red, uncirculated examples have the most value. For those serious about treasure hunting, the best step is to submit any promising coin to a grading service like PCGS, NGC, or ANAX. They can confirm varieties, certify mint errors, and assign that all-important grade that can multiply the value overnight. Many collectors have found life-changing results from rolls of ordinary-looking 2015 pennies purchased at banks or inherited from family change jars. At first glance, the 2015 penny might seem like the definition of ordinary, but that's what makes it so thrilling. In a world where billions of coins look identical, one tiny mistake, one doubled letter, one off-center strike, one flawless surface, can turn your pocket change into a $10,000 discovery. So next time you spot a 2015 penny, don't ignore it. Turn it under the light, look closer, and remember, even the newest coins can hide stories of luck, history, and unexpected fortune. The story begins during World War II. In 1943, the US Mint made a historic decision. It stopped using copper for pennies because the metal was needed for ammunition and military equipment. That year's cents were made of zinc-coated steel, giving them a silver-gray color. But the public disliked them. They rusted easily and were often mistaken for dimes. So in 1944, the mint switched back to copper, melting down spent shell casings from the war to make new Lincoln cents. These became known as shell case cents. The 1944 Lincoln cent was struck at the San Francisco Mint, with over 282 million coins produced. Each was made from the recycled bronze, alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. For most of these coins, their value is modest, a few cents to a few dollars depending on condition. But among these billions, a handful of extraordinary coins slipped through. Wrong plancher errors, doubled dies, and unbelievably high-grade examples that have stunned collectors for decades. Let's start with the most legendary, the 1944 steel cent. When the mint switched back to copper in 1944, a few leftover steel planchers from the previous year were accidentally struck with 1944 dies. These mistakes produced one of the most famous mint errors in US history, the 1944 steel penny. It looks like a silvery 1943 cent, but the date reads 1944, and the mint mark is S. Only a handful are known to exist, fewer than 30, confirmed worldwide. Each one is a numismatic miracle. When one of these elusive 1944 steel cents surfaced at auction, it set off a bidding frenzy. In 2019, a high-grade example graded MS66 by PCGS sold for an unbelievable $408,000. Another specimen in slightly lower condition still realized $215,000, and even those with light circulation marks bring $75,000 to $125,000 today. These are among the most valuable Lincoln cents ever struck, a product of pure minting coincidence and wartime, history colliding in a single coin. But even among the regular copper 1944 pennies, there are plenty of treasures to be found. One of the most desirable varieties is the 1944 double die obverse. This rare error shows clear doubling on the date and the words, "In God We Trust." It's visible under magnification, and high-grade examples have fetched serious money. A sharply struck, bright red version graded MS66RD sold for $2,600, while another with slightly softer doubling still brought $8,400. Another collector favorite is the repunched mint mark RPM variety, a result of the old manual mint mark punching process. In 1944, each die was stamped with the S by hand. and sometimes the first punch didn't line up perfectly. This created coins where you can see a second S just above or beside the first. These subtle but exciting varieties can sell for $500 to $1,500 in mid-grade condition, and bright red uncirculated examples have topped $3,000. Then there are the striking and plancher errors that keep collectors hunting. Amathantückels, penny struck off center, where part of Lincoln's profile or the date is cut off by the edge, can fetch $800 to $2,000, depending on how far off the strike is. Coins struck on foreign planchers or transitional metals are even more valuable. For instance, one 1944 S penny was discovered struck on a silver dime plancher, which made it smaller and shinier than normal. That coin sold for an astonishing $18,700. Another, struck on a brass plancher, meant for a different denomination, brought $40,400. The condition of a 1944 S penny makes a huge difference in value. Most have circulated for decades, losing their bright red color and showing wear on Lincoln's cheek and the wheat stalks on the reverse. But a tiny fraction survived untouched, often because they were pulled from rolls by collectors shortly after being minted. These are the red RD coins which still have that glowing copper brilliance. Amathantückels, graded MS67RD by PCGS, nearly flawless, once sold for $9,000, while another with blazing luster and perfect strike achieved $2,300. Even proof-like examples with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details exist among early strikes. These coins weren't officially labeled as proofs, but the first coins, struck from freshly polished dies, sometimes took on that appearance. Collectors pay premium prices for these because they bridge the line between mint era and artwork. What makes the 1944 S penny so captivating is that it reflects the resilience and innovation of wartime America. The mint was reusing metal from battlefields, trying to meet coin shortages while transitioning back to copper. These coins literally carry a piece of that history, a blend of scarcity, craftsmanship, and luck. Each one could have come from melted-down artillery shells used overseas, then reformed into a symbol of peace and normal life returning. For collectors and treasure hunters today, the 1944 S penny is a favorite target in wheat cent rolls. While most you find may only be worth a few cents, the possibility of discovering a steel version, a double die, or a pristine high-grade gem keeps people searching. Stories still surface of collectors finding steel examples or RPM, varieties in old jars or inherited coin boxes, turning pocket change into 5- or 6-figure fortunes. If you ever find a 1944 S penny that looks odd, lighter in weight, silver in color, or unusually sharp in detail, treat it with care. Don't clean it or polish it. The difference between a few dollars and a few $100,000 could depend on professional verification. Submitting the coin to PCGS NGC or ANAX for grading and authentication is the only way to know for sure. The 1944 S Lincoln cent is a perfect example of why even the smallest coins can hold incredible value. It's a piece of American history, born from wartime necessity, struck with precision, and carrying a legacy that has outlasted its generation. So next time you see that S beneath the date, remember, it might not just be an old penny. It could be a piece of history worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, waiting quietly in the palm of your hand. In 1909, a small copper coin created a massive storm in the world of collectors, the 1909 VDB, Lincoln wheat penny. This little coin, once worth just a cent, has stunned the auction world with jaw-dropping prices, sometimes exceeding $60,000, and even touching 6-figure marks for pristine high-grade examples. Before we dive deeper into its story, support our effort, subscribe, like, and share, so we can keep bringing you more incredible coin discoveries and hidden treasures from history. The 1909 VDB, Lincoln wheat penny, marks the birth of one of America's most iconic coin series. It was the first year the Lincoln cent was ever minted, replacing the Indian head design that had circulated for decades. The initials VDB stand for Victor David Brenner, the sculptor who designed the new Lincoln portrait and placed his initials boldly on the reverse at the bottom, between the wheat stalks. But this simple act sparked enormous controversy. The US Mint quickly halted production after public backlash, claimed the initials were too prominent. As a result, the 1909 VDB pennies became an overnight rarity, especially those struck at the San Francisco Mint. The 1909 SVDB is the true star of this story. Only 484,000 were ever minted, making it one of the lowest mintages in the entire Lincoln series. Collectors immediately realized its rarity, and even back then, people were lining up outside banks to grab rolls. Many were hoarded in mint condition, but very few survived untouched. Today, a 1909 VDB Lincoln, sent in uncirculated condition, can fetch between 1 to 200 and 3,000 dime, while high-grade red gems graded by PCGS or NGC can skyrocket to 40,000, 60,000, or even beyond in perfect MS67 condition. The Philadelphia version, the 1909 VDB without the S mint mark, was produced in large quantities, about 27 million coins. However, collectors still chase those with deep red luster or proof-like surfaces, which can reach $2,000 to $3,000 for top grades. The Mint also struck 1909 proof VDB cents, and those proofs in superb condition have achieved auction results, topping $25,000 for flawless examples. Aside from the VDB versions, the Mint also produced 1909 non-VDB cents after the initials were removed. Those are more common, but still hold collector value, especially when found in high grade or with strong original color. What makes the VDB edition special is not just their rarity, but their connection to the very beginning of a beloved American coinage series that's still circulating today. Historically, 1909 was an important year for the United States Mint. It marked 100 years since Abraham Lincoln's birth. The reason this design was chosen in the first place. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln was revolutionary for its time, as no US coin had ever featured a real historical figure before. It symbolized a shift in American design, from abstract liberty figures to national heroes, and the 1909 VDB penny became a patriotic keepsake for millions. Collectors today know that condition and color are everything. A coin with full red surfaces, sharp wheat lines, and no carbon spots can bring thousands more than a brown or spotted example. Coins certified by PCGS or NGC with the red designation are the ultimate finds. Even circulated examples are prized, with fine condition coins selling for $200 to $500, depending on eye appeal and surface quality. The 1909 VDB penny is also one of the most counterfeited US coins. Many fake versions exist, often made by adding an S mint mark to a regular 1909 VDB. Collectors should always check authentication guides or rely on professional grading services. True examples show the S mint mark perfectly positioned and shaped, slightly tilted and with crisp serifs. Stories of treasure hunts still surround this coin. There are collectors who discovered genuine 1909 VDB cents in old jars, inherited boxes, or estate collections, instantly uncovering a small fortune. One such penny, in brilliant uncirculated condition, stunned bidders when it sold for nearly $70,000 in a major auction. So, next time you're checking your old coin jars, don't overlook a 1909 penny, especially one with those small VDB initials on the back and a tiny S under the date. It might just be a gateway to history and to a serious payday. Keep watching for more incredible stories like this, because somewhere out there, in someone's pocket change, a forgotten piece of history might be waiting to change their life forever.